Okay, my name's Zakashi guys, and in this video here we're going to be doing a top 5 best teams of the month. We just left the month of August, we're starting the month of September, but of course we need to discuss the best teams that we saw in the month of August, kind of like a history tracker. But one big thing I want to point out is that the top 5 teams in this video, up to 5 teams, are not in order. I'll mention this again because people will be skipping, but they're not in order, so just hold that in mind. But hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video. Hopefully it is helpful. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 75,000 subscribers. So if you're new here, you know what to do here. Make sure to press that red button, man. And yeah, let's get into this video now. Okay, so first up, we got Future. I feel like Future is a very safe team. A lot of people use it because it revolves around Ultra Vegito Blue, of course. Sword of Hope Trunks is a very good option to actually take hits, and on top of the fact that when his gauge fills, he's actually able to break the enemy's combo completely by reducing their ki. On top of that, Rose is here as an option, and right now with a lot of blues in the game, we've got 17, we got Gold Frieza, so Frieza side, and we have the new Super Saiyan Goku. Ultra Rose, he's a good stopper for all those blues, and I don't even need to mention Sword of Hope Trunks again, but yeah, he's blue as well. So overall, this Future team pretty much works very well, but there are some options that you can take out if you wanted to run a different variation of Future. So for example, I'm not using a purple on my Future team, but you could of course run the new LF Cell. He's actually very viable on the Future team. I wouldn't have thought so at the start, but he can be used, and then you Zankai buff him using the Legend Limited Rose here. He's Zankai buffs Future, and his Z ability also works for Future and powerful opponents, which is great for him. So you can go ahead and add him on, and if you wanted a yellow just in the scenario, the only one I would pretty much go for is Future Gohan, simply because he's actually a team buffer when he actually takes hits, and on top of that, he has endurance, so he's able to keep your team alive, and his cover change allows him to break combos too. Everybody else that's pretty much on Future is pretty useless, I'm not going to lie. Maybe our friends Zamasu as an honorable mention option if you don't have Sword of Hope Trunks. That would actually be a good substitute, but Sword of Hope Trunks is pretty much going to be everyone's main go-to. He's been in the game for a while, so most people have him at least Zenkai ready. So yeah, this is pretty much the Future team. They removed the view all party option, so like I have to show you like this. But we have Vegito Blue, Sword of Hope Trunks, and then we have Rose being the main 3. Then we have Green Vegeta Zenkai buffing Rose. But of course you can go for a different Zenkai buff if you wanted to buff, for example, Rose twice. You could use Beerus, but then you mess up Sword of Hope Trunks. I'm just giving you options for it out there. The green one-arm Trunks as well, also Zenkai buffs Rose as well, just putting that out there. But then Mai is there for the HP buff, and Trunks and Mai at the bottom, they're Zenkai buffing Ultra Vegito Blue. But yeah, that's the first team I'm going to mention in this video. That is Future. They're very solid. Definitely advise you picking them up if you haven't already. Number 2 on this list, and before we continue, I should have said in the first team, but this list is not in order. I know people be skipping, don't be one of them, but it's not in order. So this team could be better than the first team, and the team after could be better than this team, just putting that out there. But these are just top 5 teams, up to 5 teams anyways. But Frieza Force is the team I'm mentioning next. I got Ultra Vegito Blue in the leader slot. A lot of people like to run this dangerous composition, but there are some substitutes, but overall this team is just great. So your main 3 would obviously be Ultra Vegito Blue, Gold Frieza, guaranteed 2, and then First One Frieza, your third option, who's very effective of making Goku and Frieza a way more menacing unit, more than they already are. But yeah, let's go to the character list so we can look at what other options you've got. I'm not going to really mention the Ginyu Force options, but of course you could use them. But one person I really want to mention is this Revival Frieza. A lot of people like to opt in for him because he can also take in a lot of the Zenkai buffs, being him being blue. So it was very effective if you wanted to run him on the team. More than anybody else I want to mention, the yellow Zenkais didn't really work out too well, so right now they're not really eating the final full power Frieza as well, so I wouldn't really opt into it. So it's pretty much just a set stable team. I guess for the bench you could change it up a bit, but I think this is like the most optimal. But of course if you wanted to take out the First One Frieza, you could put Revza, because that revival option gives him a layer of defense to hold your team alive. But then of course he's also getting Zenkai buffs from Kula over here, Lineage of Evil, and should be Broly and Sheila as well with the Frieza Force buff, which is obviously very effective to keep him tanky, strong, alive, whatever you want to say. So yeah, this is the Frieza Force team. I don't really need to go into it much more because it's not like you're shifting pieces a lot. I wouldn't really say there's a lot more options. If I wanted to bring out some Zenkai buffs, maybe you could use this Vegeta. You could use some Zenkai buffs that are Saiyans to buff Goku, but then you kind of mess up for First One Frieza and any other LOE or Frieza Force unit that you want to use. So I wouldn't really opt in for it. For example, LL Nameku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, just giving you guys some examples. So I pretty much just stick to this if you can, but I'm just putting it out there in case you don't have the exact units that I'm using for this team. And Ultra Vegeta Blue's on the leader slot, but there's other leader slot options that you could have. So I'm gonna actually have to take off this setting. The main one and the only one I'm gonna mention, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have him. It's gonna be LL17. Where is he? There he is. LL17, very good option of making the team a team that can stand on their feet for much longer. So shout out to 17, man. He's very solid in this team as well. He's solid on every team, to be honest. His value just going up every single month, which is actually amazing for him. So yeah, that's the team there. Frieza Force, LOE, whatever you want to call it. They're number 2 on this list. Number 3 on this list, we got Universe Rep. Now, I've got Ultra Vegeta Blue in the leader slot simply because the leader slot works that way. But same way with a lot of these teams, the one person I should have been mentioning the whole time is the Legends Limited Super Saiyan Goku. He can fit on a lot of these teams as a leader slot option as well. But when it comes to leader slot, it's not really about the team, it's just the unit that you want to use. So, of course, that should be a given, regardless. But yeah, let's look at USS. So I got Ultra Vegeta Blue at leader slot, then you'd have Go Freeze, and the next bet would probably be 17. But if you wanted to mix and match this team, you definitely could, because some people are building it in different manners. So for example, instead of 17, if I go to my party formation and I take off this setting, so I'm actually going to go take it off. I want to find the new Super Saiyan Goku, right? I could turn this team into a blue-purple kind of team. That's to make the Goku and Frieza and the Goku that I'm adding get buffs. So you can see if I add him on, and then I look for some other options. So I'll take Nameku because Nameku's a Zenkai buff for Saiyan, so these two are eating. I could get another Zenkai buff for Son family, so Pan now. And then if I grab something from the EX, I could get this guy that gives 50% to blue and purple strike. So already this team is looking solid. I don't have a HP buff, unfortunately, but the Zenkai buffs already do a lot for the team, and Ultra Vegeta Blue's on the leader slot, so he's just doing his fill. But of course, you could also take off UVB, and you could add that menace of a unit that's just going up with every single team, considering this is USS. Android 17, who I don't have, so you put him on the team as well, and the team could work the same way with the Super Saiyan Goku on the team. But then you could also take off the Super Saiyan Goku on the team, and for the guys that have like a maybe 10, 12, 14 star Ultra Hit, you could put him on the team as well. But Hit, really and truly, there's no real point of using him if Ultra Vegeta Blue exists, because Ultra Vegeta Blue is just the better red. Let's go back to the Universe Rep option. Trying to just scout for any other options, just in case people want to look for substitutes. I wouldn't really say there is any. UI Sign is actually very solid. I'm not gonna lie, I slept on him. My eyes did not see him, but there's nothing my eyes cannot see. So UI Sign, besides from that, I think everybody else is good, pretty much. You could swap out UI Sign for the Super Saiyan Goku, and it'd pretty much be the same thing. You might just want to change out some of the bench options. So instead of going for blue Zenkai buffers, you go for purple ones, because Goku and Frieza would still get that because they're half purple, half blue, and it works the exact same way. And your leader slot option could be any of the others I mentioned. You could even put the Super Saiyan Goku on the leader slot now. You could put 17 on the leader slot. You could still have UVB on the leader slot. USS is a very, very stacked team because of the leader slot as well. But even on its own, it can hold its own very, very well. 17 Go Freezer, Hit, and UI Sign. So yeah, that's USS as a whole. I don't think there's anything else that I missed, but of course, you guys are free to discuss in the comment section. Okay, so the last team I'm going to mention for this video is Android. And right now, it looks nothing like Android. There's not one Android on the team, right? But it's because the formation I wanted to start with is probably the most optimal, but there's many others that you could actually build of Android. And I don't have a fifth team. I feel like any other team is really just forcing it into the meta, whereas these 4 teams are teams that you'd see a lot more often, even with Androids barely being seen. So that's saying a lot, you know? So cool. Let's dive into this. So if you go into character list, yeah, there's 2 characters that I'm missing that would fill the spaces. So let me take this off and just go to the bottom because they're characters I don't have. LL17, put him on the team. You can put him on the leader slot, and then you put this Cell on the team as well. Now, if I go back out and show you what I have this guy here being a future Z ability guy and a Zenkai buffer for future. So Cell eats off that. I have this guy here being built for future, which is why UVB is on the team. Zenkai buff for UVB, and then this guy here doing a purple and red 50% to strike attack. So then if you put 17 on the leader slot, he eats off all of that. And then if you put Cell here, he's able to actually get the Zenkai buffs and Z abilities from everyone too. Let me check just to make sure that UVB actually does give Future. Does he buff? Yeah, he does buff Future. So it go both ways between Cell and UVB as well. So the team works very well, comprising of 3 very dominant units in the meta, covering 3 elements as well. 17 keeping the team alive, Cell having his death buffs, and UVB being one of the most oppressive units in the game, if not the most oppressive unit in the game. So yeah, that would be like one of the future steps I wanted to talk about. But there are other options on Future that you could add. I mean, androids, sorry. It's a Future bench, but it's androids and it overlaps, if that makes sense. So let's actually talk about androids now, like actually androids, even though it's half on half Future in a sense, but this is pure androids now. So you could have the Gammas. The Gammas are a very good option if you summon highly for them. Do not sleep on them. And I believe this Cell, I don't know if he Zenkai buffs androids. Let me make sure. Yeah, he does. So you can put the Cell to Zenkai buff the Gammas as well. And then you're pushing the bench into a more androids type state. Of course, I already mentioned the Cell. So your 3 would be Gammas, 17, and Cell pretty much. You wouldn't really have anybody else. I've seen some people try slide in Magenta, and I'm not saying he's bad, but obviously you want to go way more oppressive, otherwise you won't be, it'll be much harder in my opinion to catch wins. So those would be your main 3. So if you had 17 on the lead, so you can Zenkai buff with 21. Cell, you can Zenkai buff here with the evil 21, I believe, and then also get a HP buff, which is actually very, very useful. And then if you're running the Gammas, you have Cell there on the bench as well. So that's also like another team that you could run. But of course, I feel like this Future bench type team, which is still androids with 17 and Cell, is way more profitable in general. So that's why I've put this setup as the front line. But it's just also, I wouldn't say it's unfortunate because I purposely skipped the characters, but I don't have 17 and Cell, so it's not easy for me to show you the team in one go because I can't select them. But yeah, that's androids, and it's going to be the last team for this video. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I didn't mention Super Saiyan Goku a lot more simply because he doesn't have a solid team for himself. That's what I feel like the big thing is. You could put him on teams, but they're not meta relevant teams. And if you want to say they are, there's easily 3 teams that I already mentioned: Future, USS, and Frieza Force, that are just way more dominant than any other team that Super Saiyan Goku would fit on more than anything else. He fits on Frieza Saga, but nobody's actually running a Frieza Saga specific team, if that makes sense. Super Saiyan, you can run him with Bardock, but there's Pan that reduces criticals, and even then, it's not a meta team. You're just using it because you want to make this guy strong. Saiyans doesn't really have Saiyan components. There's so many Saiyans in the meta, but there's no real Saiyan team. So it's a bit weird for him where you're just leader slotting him because he alone is a very devastating unit. But shout out to Goku for releasing, man, because he's a good unit to counter Ultra Vegeta Blue. Like, perfect unit, in fact. So yeah, press the subscribe button, man. We're on this grind to 75,000 subscribers. But I'm gonna leave the video like that, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.